Hey guys, welcome back to my channel Investment Pro. Today I'm sharing my thoughts on Palantir Short Squeeze possibilities. Before we start, as a standard disclaimer, I'm not a CPA, legal or financial advisor. This channel is for entertainment and education purposes only. You should do your own research. At the same time, I want to disclose to my viewers that I have a position in the Palantir stock, and I'll be discussing my position later in the video today. Just to understand the short interest in any stock, first we need to look at a couple of things: the short squeeze score, the short shares availability, the short borrowing fees, the short volumes, fail to deliver, institutional put and call ratios, and so on. Let's look at these things one by one just to have a better understanding of a short squeeze. I'm going to use a Fintel data from their website just for this video, just to help ourselves understand the short interest in any stock. So let's discuss this short squeeze score. The short squeeze score is a result of a sophisticated multi-factor quantitative model that identifies companies that have the highest risk of experiencing a short squeeze. The score model uses a combination of short interest, float, short borrow, fees rates, and other metrics. The numbers ranges from 0 to 100, with the higher numbers indicating higher risk of a short squeeze relative to its peers, and the 50 being the average. So for example, if your stock is in the range of 50 or more, then there's a higher possibilities your stock might do a short squeeze. The short volume is basically the total number of short shares traded on the major US market each day, whereas the short volume ratio is determined by the total number of short shares traded divided by the total number of shares traded each day. Short shares availability. So these are the shares available to be shorted at a leading prime brokerage. It is not the total number of shares available to short, nor is it the short interest. It does not include the data from other brokers or dark pools. It is a small sample, and it is useful for tracking the rise and fall in a demand of shares throughout the day. So basically this data is being updated every 30 minutes. As you can see, this is from Fintel, so they update the data every 30 minutes. So you can see from on 26th of June, there are plenty of shares available that are available to be shorted for the Palantir. The short volume is a data set that can be used to understand the investor sentiment. When an investor makes a short sale, they do so with the belief that the security will decline in price. If the short sale volume increases as a percentage of the total volume, then that suggests a bearish negative sentiment by the market. If the short sale volume decreases as a percentage of total volume, then that suggests a positive sentiment, bullish scenario. So here from the Fintel graphs, we can see from 18th of June that the short volume was at 10.79, basically 11%, which is not that high. That indicates that there are really less chances in the Palantir stock that it can do a short squeeze. Fail to deliver basically refers to a situation where one party in a trading contract, whether it's a share, futures, options, does not deliver on their obligation. Such failures occur when a buyer, in case of long position, does not have enough money to take delivery and pay for the transaction at the settlement date. A failure can also occur when the seller, in case of short position, does not own all or any of the underlying assets required at the settlement, and so cannot make the delivery. If you look at the fail to deliver data from Fintel for Palantir, we can see there was a huge spike in Feb, and from May we can see that we had 61,000 shares failed to deliver for Palantir. This is not a huge amount for Palantir. The institutional put and call ratio is the total number of put options disclosed by institutions divided by the total number of call options. High value indicates a high degree of shorting. For Palantir, the put and call ratio was at 1.68 in June. So this is not a high put and call ratio. Let's look at the data from finviz.com. From the data, we can see there was a huge spike in the price of Palantir stock. The stock was at $45 in the month of Feb, and then it came down in month of May. It again reversed the trend, and it's now, you can see it's a bullish trend. The stock is running at $25.42, You can see the volume is very steady, and there's a very steady constant uptrend in Palantir stock. To me, this is very bullish, and it doesn't indicate to me any sort of short squeeze incoming. The Finviz data also shows the short ratio. The short ratio is just 1.18, so that doesn't indicate that this is prime for a short squeeze. However, we do have articles that indicates that Palantir could be the next big meme stock. It is one of the momentum favorites for Reddit users, although it doesn't have a huge short interest, but it's definitely a momentum play, and it could be the next big meme. Some of the analysts are saying that the Palantir stock comes in as a hold, based on the ratings collected, but they did mention that Palantir could hit the $30 per share by the end of this year. If we look at the numbers from Q1 2021, we can see the total revenue grew by 49% year on year to 341 million. US commercial revenue grew by 72% year on year. US government revenue grew 83% year on year. Cash flow from operations of 170 million, up 404 million year on year, and representing a 34% margin. So this is a huge margin for any business. Adjusted free cash flow of 151 million, up 441 million year on year, representing a 44% margin. So these are the great numbers. However, they did have a net loss per share diluted to 0.07. In terms of outlook for Q2 2021, Palantir expects 360 million in revenue, representing year-over-year revenue growth of 43%, adjusted operating margin of 23%. For the full year 2021, Palantir expects adjusted free cash flow in excess of 150 million. Per long-term guidance policy as provided by CEO Alex Karp, they expect annual revenue growth of 30% or greater for 2021 through 2025. So 30% revenue growth for any company is a very positive signal. That shows that the products of these companies can add a great value to any corporations, government or commercial, and they are on the right track. As I said in the beginning of the call, I want to share and I want to be transparent to my viewers that I do have position in Palantir. So you can see I do have over 600 shares of Palantir at the average price paid at $13.92. I'm currently up more than 80%. At a time, I was up like at 250% when the share price was at $45. But since we are at $25, I'm still up by 82%. So this is a high conviction stock for me, and for the long term I want to keep holding my Palantir share. I do see a very high potential in Palantir, and I expect this to be somewhere more than $30 by the end of this year. So to me, the Palantir is definitely a hold. In my opinion, it's not a financial advice. For me, I'm not gonna sell my Palantir at $25 or $30. For me, this is a very long-term hold. I do see this company to grow and generate profits in the future. So I'll keep holding my shares. Let me know what you guys think. Do you have position in Palantir? What do you think of Palantir? And yeah. In my opinion, just by looking at the Fintel data for Palantir, I don't think the Palantir is prime for any short squeeze in near time. But at the same time, I want to say that Palantir is one of the favorite momentum stock for Reddit users and Wall Street bets. So who knows what is in the future? But based on the data that we saw, I don't think the short squeeze is near. And so on. Okay, all right guys, thank you very much. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Take care guys, talk soon, bye.